Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's talk. My name is Guru, and I'm going to be talking to you about NPAs today. Normally, when you mention NPAs, this is the kind of response that typically a lot of bankers have. And someone, I read somewhere that someone once explained NPAs like NPAs are nothing but old wine in a new bottle. But I think this response is justified because if you look at the larger scheme of things, India has one of the worst bad loan ratios when compared to the top 10 economies of the world, right? And it's not getting any better either. If you look at the recent report by RBI on the trend and progress of banking in India, during 2020-21, retail loan portfolios of banks outgrew their services sector, aided by double-digit acceleration in housing loans, which was the biggest component of retail loans. Vehicle loans as well gained a lot of traction because of the substantial discounts that were available during the pandemic. So there are a lot of loans out there, and someone once said that the true game in lending is not about how quickly you disburse, but how efficiently and promptly you collect. And I'm not saying that we have a panacea to this impending problem of NPAs, but maybe, just maybe, one solution could be to make the whole collection and recovery process a little more borrower friendly. Right? Let me tell you what I mean by this. So if you look at the paper-based settlement process today, the way that it works is, as soon as a collection agent logs into an internal system, she gets the list of letters that she needs to send out in the day. She'll print them out, after which she will then hand over that letter physically to a field agent. A field agent would then go visit the customer's house, and you can imagine how difficult this might have been during the lockdowns and stuff over the years. But a field agent will visit the customer's house, get the customer to add their consent onto the form or agreement. And then the field agent would then take that back over to the branch office or the bank. And then the collection agent then would check the agreement, make sure everything's good, and then update the records in the system of record. And then finally, all of this is then, the papers are then stored and archived in a physical storage. Now, the challenge here is that the process is very slow and convoluted, as you just saw. There's no visibility or traceability throughout this entire journey. And it's obviously prone to a lot of manual errors here. The impact of this is that you have poor end user experience, compliance and regulatory issues. There could be theft of data, and forging of data and so on. There's too much paper generated at the end of this entire workflow, and of course the repayment forecasting is not very accurate because you're not sure if the letters have been signed, at what stage they are in their journey. There's no way to trace that out. So let's see how digitizing this can really help the entire process. So let's look at a digitized version of the entire workflow now. So the collection agent, all she has to do is upload a CSV file or an Excel sheet that has all of the defaulters and their outstanding amounts and everything listed. All of that is automatically populated into a template, an agreement template, and then sent out to the customer to sign at their convenience. Maybe they want to sign on an using their email. Maybe they'll receive it via their email, or maybe it's a rural customer who doesn't have email. So in that case, maybe we could send it as an SMS on their phone. So they click on the link that comes to them. It's a link to the agreement. At this point, the document will be residing in the Adobe Sign data center, or we use the AWS infrastructure. We use the AWS data center. So that's where the document is going to reside. And at that point, the customer then can sign the agreement, on their phone or tablet or desktop, laptop, whatever they find convenient, and they authenticate themselves. This is a very important aspect as well, because you need to validate that it's the right person who's doing it. When in the physical form, you had your collection agent who would do that, verification. But in this case, what you can do is you can have the customer enter their Aadhaar registered mobile number or their virtual ID number. And what would happen is that we would route the call to UIDAI via NSDL, and UIDAI then will send an OTP on the Aadhaar registered mobile number or email ID of the customer. And then they put that OTP in, and that's it. They are validated, authenticated, and then the journey moves on. At that point, now that the signing is complete, the agent will then receive a notification saying that the customer has finished the signing process. But not only notification, they'll also be able to view in a dashboard, they'll be able to view the progress of this entire journey in real time. They'll be able to know, for example, has the customer opened the email or opened the link that was sent to them? And they can keep track on that and follow up only where required. And then finally, since these documents are on the cloud, the bank can then choose to store the documents on any on-premise or cloud storage that they're choosing. And that's where the documents will then be residing for easy retrieval and search. The operational efficiency that you get here is really quick turnaround times. As you can imagine, there's no visiting, taking appointments and all of that involved. It drastically improves the efficiency of the entire process. Security is of prime concern here as well, especially since there is no manual intervention here. So there's very less chance of data theft happening. You get better repayment forecasting. You know how many customers have been paid or are willing to pay, and it's easier for you as a bank to make maybe provisions against the remaining debt that's accumulated. And then this could be scaled up to whatever extent you want. As we saw in the reports earlier, it's only going to get more and more dire as we move on. So it would make a lot of sense to have a solution that can scale without requiring you to add more headcounts to your process. And of course, from a cost point of view as well, you'll get increased collections contributing to your top line. Reduction in paper, absolutely no paper throughout this process, or storage. I know there's a lot of companies out there who have prime locations in Mumbai dedicated for storing paper. It baffles my mind, but there are situations. So there'd be none of that here in this case. And reduction in costs for your collection agents can now spend more time doing more business critical tasks than this kind of work. So you save cost on agent costs as well as travel costs, etc. So, but it's not only that. We can also help you with the entire document lifecycle, right from the creation to the sharing of documents within your organization, as well as making sure that you are compliant with much of the standards and the security requirements, especially when it comes to cloud-based technologies. And the impact would be obviously improved productivity, faster closing process, increased transparency, reduced risk, and better experience for both customers and your employees. We mentioned a little bit about electronic signatures earlier. I just want to highlight the fact that while building the solution here in India, we did consult with many legal firms as well as adhere to the Indian IT Act, which makes it very clear on what is a recognizable electronic signature as per our IT Act, and there are certain requirements, and we have adhered to all of these 5 requirements while engineering this solution. We've got a great integration with Microsoft as well. So in case you are using a lot of Microsoft products like the ones on screen, we have a real-time integration, for example, with Teams, wherein you could in real time send out a document to sign while on a Teams call. So if you have business or sales teams using that, so they can use this as a way to get contracts signed or agreements signed and so on and so forth as well. I mentioned about I told you we'd be talking about security at the end. So here's where I'd like to highlight that we adhere to the PCI standards, which is nothing but the payment card industry data security standards, as well as everything is encrypted during while in motion or at rest with 256-bit encryption, and also we comply with the GDPR requirements as well. We're a global company. We've got data centers across the globe. So if you've got NRI customers also that need to, that need some help with this, then we can accommodate those customers as well. But we very much have a data center in India, which is the AWS infrastructure, and all our Indian customers are automatically provisioned in the Indian data center. So data remains within the country. Finally, I'd just like to talk about a bank, a global customer, HSBC, for example, has seen a drastic improvement in their processes after digitizing them with Adobe Sign. They went from weeks to minutes, removing the whole paper-based signatures. And then they saw less than 12 hours signed return on 70% of the documents, which increased completions and sped up a lot of the transactions there. And overall, this just leaves for a very frictionless interactions for your customers, leaving them satisfied at the end of the process. So finally, just a little bit about Adobe. We've been around for more than 20 years as a company, because banking is all about trust. And so I just want to point out that, Adobe is a global leader when it comes to digital documents. We pioneered PDF. We've got stable management and leadership. There's, we've got a leadership when it comes to a lot of the security standards, PDF standards. We have offices in more than 30 countries, and we're one of the most trusted SaaS providers in the world. So on that note, thank you, everyone. Thanks for attending this session. As next steps, we've already got the solution up and running with some of our customers, and we have a partner who can help stitch this entire story together as well. And if you get all the right approvals in time, you could have this up and running within 2 to 3 weeks in your organization. We're already in Feb now, but if you were to talk to us now, you could be up and running by Q1 and provide a better benefit and a better experience for your customers, and also have a good, accurate forecast in your debt as well. So look forward to speaking to you all. Thank you very much.